The inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with her blood. And I saw her sit upon a hairy beast, and she held forth a golden chalice full of the filthiness of her fornications.
Hello, welcome to the Horror Vision After Dark. I'm Sean.
I'm Tori.
I'm Missy.
I am Anthony of Avernus.
Woo!
And it's 11:17 my time and Missy's time. It's a brisk 9:17 your time, although that's late as well. But it's Saturday night, and Anthony already got his nap on in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Prunes. So you should be well rested, my friend.
The Temple of Prunes. Oh my God. Oh man.
Quick review. How'd you feel about it?
I feel refreshed. I feel
You walked out about halfway through?
I walked out about probably like an hour 15 in, maybe. And there's still like another hour and change left. And I was like, we can't do this. We fucking left. We noped out of that bitch quick.
Good man.
I think the only movie I've ever walked out of was Pulp Fiction when the GIMP scene came out, because I was like 10 and my parents were like, oh, we gotta go.
Nice. We gotta go.
I'm like, oh, everything up to that was fine, but the GIMP getting fucked by a redneck was just way over the line.
I have stories.
Nice.
Oh no.
I walked out of Skinnamarink
Anthony
recently.
was the GIMP.
I wish.
Still have your outfit?
Yes. I walked out of The Ring 2. I walked out of The Ring 2, and I walked out of Mission Impossible 2. And I felt justified in both of those walkouts.
Never seen either. And I'll take your review right now and know that I was correct in avoiding them.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
So we are here tonight, an after hours episode, to discuss an after hours movie, if there ever was one. So in 1985, the people that owned the rights to a very good movie that came out, I think the year before.
81.
81. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. 81. Howling. Great movie, right? Really good movie.
Fuck yeah.
They made a sequel. It is called Howling 2, ... Your Sister's a Werewolf, or Howling 2, what is it? Sturba's a bitch or something like that?
Sturba, like she bitch.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Sturba.
This movie, I think, was this a Skinamax production? Because it definitely, there's moments. Dude, I was watching this. Kirsten had no context. She thought Sybil Danning was Gene Simmons. She just saw the boots and shit, and she's like, "Is that Gene Simmons?" I'm like, "No."
You guys watching Trick or Treat? Oh man.
Now, our listeners may be like, why are you devoting an episode to a movie from 1985? Pretty much nobody's seen, and everybody that's seen it doesn't like it. And to that, I can only say I don't know. No explanation. It seemed like it would be fun, so let's see where this goes.
Wait, I like this movie.
Okay. I'm not casting judgment. There's things about it I like. They fit in a shot glass, but
I've seen ICP live, guys. I have nothing to fucking lose, okay? No shame. Show me the sheep bitch any day.
So, Tori, when was the first time that you saw Howling 2, Sturba the she bitch?
Well, I know I've seen it as a kid, but
You sound like you're crying.
I am.
Should be.
Because I have seen this movie like 3 times in the last couple months, you guys. The most I had ever seen it in my life before that.
Oh, man. I'm sorry to add to your misery.
Oh, this is great. No. Ooh, so it's directed by Felipe Mora, who fucking directed Communion, which is a great alien movie.
Not a Communion fan
starting
either. That makes so much sense to me.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, the book is amazing. The
He
movie
did
is
Mad
garbage.
Dog Morgan.
There's an alien in a top hat and a cane at one point doing a song and dance.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my
Yeah.
darling. Hello.
The book
Wait,
is
I'm like,
fucking...
are we watching what are we watching Spaceballs?
The book is
Yes.
terrifying. I mean, it's literally Whitley Strieber is terrifying. I watched the movie. I'm like, are you kidding? Sorry. Makes so much sense.
Why it pays to not read, okay? I'm joking.
I know.
And then the director did fucking Howling 3, The Marsupials, which I wish to God Ray was here to talk about.
No, isn't that 4?
Fucking marsupials.
I think that's 4.
No, the marsupials is 3.
It is 3? Okay, I think Ray told me it was 4, so fuck Ray. But he's not here.
Well,
Four is a freak show.
Fuck that guy.
No, I'm kidding.
4's Freak Show, which is I really like Freak Show. God damn this movie. So Sir Christopher fucking Lee is in it.
Sorry, I'm just gonna say this right off the bat. I know he's royalty. I fucking hate him. I think he sucks. I just think he sucks in everything I've seen him in, other than was like City of the Dead, or there's an old black and white flick seen him in. Everything else I've seen him in, I just think he sucks. So let the hate mail start. And this
Not
movie
even
is
Howling. Not even Howling 2.
yeah, he sucks in this. He sucks so bad in this, as does everyone. Oh, he sucks.
And that was the last episode of the Horror Vision, everybody. Thank you for tuning in for all these years and putting up with our bullshit.
That's an episode we need to talk about, is what the hatred for Christopher Lee on Sean's part. Just to dedicate a whole episode to it. Show us on the doll where Sir Lee touched you, okay?
I'm not gonna. I'm sure there's movies out there where you could be like, watch this movie. I'm like, he was good in that movie.
Lord
I
of
have
the
not.
Rings?
I fucking hate those movies. It's just. I just don't like the Knights and Dragons shit. I'm just like, I don't know. Go kiss a girl or whoever. Go kiss a guy. I don't care. Go kiss somebody. Stop. I don't know.
Nah.
I'm sorry.
Kiss me.
Kiss an orc. Orc orgy, that'd be cool. We saw a werewolf orgy. Let's do
We
orc
did.
orgy.
An orc orgy would probably be preferable.
Woo!
As long as they had the right costumes,
Right?
But okay,
Oh,
so
man.
I'm sorry, Tori. My Christopher
That's
Lee
okay. That's okay.
hatred derailed you. So you saw this movie first?
Many a time.
When did you see it first?
Oh, I'd have to say it's like a kid, just watching everything terrible, bad for you. It was thrown in there because, like, how could you forget that? How can you forget S&M leather daddies and mommies just howling, watching some lady rip off her dress like
17 times.
17 fucking times. Can you imagine that? Like, you as an actress saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to do any nudity. Okay, how about a little? All right, let's do one scene. One scene, rubbing their hands together. Let's play it fucking 17 times at the end.
And there's not even any like reason. It's just so staccato. It's like her ripping her top off, something else, her ripping her top off, something else, and then a couple scenes, and then it repeats.
But it was to the beat of the song.
It was. So, I mean, there's that.
Oh my god. But okay, besides Sean's favorite, Christopher Lee, has Annie McEnroe. The only other thing I know her from is Beetlejuice.
She's in Beetlejuice?
Yeah, she's the annoying sales lady. Remember, she
Okay.
tries to sell them a house. Hi, I've got your keys, and she's bugging them in the beginning. She's only in the beginning.
So she's got to be in this because she looks like Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, there's so many like moments where I'm like, oh, she looks like Jamie Lee Curtis. Like at that time, not now. I mean, if somebody's listening to this thinking she doesn't look anything like her, go back and watch Terror Train, and then don't watch this. Just look at it still, and you'll be like, oh, I see it.
I can see that, but she must have sucked somebody's dick because she's a horrible actress.
Tori, did you watch the movie? There's nobody in there that's swinging like Jesus.
Okay. That's bad. If I'm watching the bad fucking movie and I'm like, man, she's terrible.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Oh wow,
they're all pretty bad though. Good Lord.
They are, but her and the other main guy, Reb Brown, like, oh God, just terrible. Fucking terrible. Then it also has Marsha Hunt, who plays Mariana. She was in Dracula AD.
Never saw that.
Of course, we have Sybil
Danning,
who's been in everything cool. Well, not cool, but B movie in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then to round out our fucking werewolf retinue, we have Judd Omen. And the only other movie I know him from is Pee-wee.
Oh, Red Dawn. He's the main Cuban in Red Dawn.
Yeah, but Pee-wee. That's all I remember him is Pee-wee. He's like, this is my boyfriend. Do you think Joe Dante ever watched Howling 2?
No.
Probably not.
No, because otherwise this director would have been killed. I'm pretty sure he would have been killed.
You don't think he did the thing, like when your girlfriend starts dating a new dude and you're like going on Facebook just to like torture yourself a bit. You're like, let's see. Oh, they're so happy. No, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Man, God, I mean, these are just this. How do you go from the first movie to this? I don't understand.
Like, I appreciate them at least. Like, it starts pretty much right after the first one. But yeah, that's about it.
So these are based on novels by Gary
Brandner, but they're nothing like them. I've read those books.
Oh, you did? Okay, so talk about that. Talk about the novels.
I mean, a long time ago, but they're completely different. I noticed some of the like cover art in this movie that we just watched. So, okay. The original Howling is one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
And werewolf movies are one of my favorite things. So when junior high me discovered all these movies at the video store, I had to see all of them, and then I watched this. Started with the second one and was heartbroken. And I had seen the other sequels at that time, and then was just heartbroken that aside from the marsupials, they were just really bad and nothing like the original movie. I will say that having watched Howling 2 Thursday night. This was the first time I had watched it since seeing it as a kid. And I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. but now I'm much more accepting of, like, I love cheesy bad movies. There aren't that many good werewolf movies out there, and then that we went into these after the original, I never went back to them because I was just bummed. Now, after watching this the other night and having a relatively good time with it, I'll probably revisit the sequels, and I might hate myself for it. But as far as the books go, it's probably been about 10 years since I read them. But aside from like characters and locations, like, they're completely different stories. Completely.
So even the first one is it
even the first one.
That's interesting.
I mean, the first one is closer, but they change a lot. I remember a lot being changed. I don't remember all the specifics of it.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I was just
It's been a really long time.
The book and the first movie, it's the same female that Karen,
Right.
I forget her last name.
She gets attacked in her apartment in the beginning of the book.
She's not investigating a serial killer like in the movie. She gets raped and attacked, has a miscarriage. Then she goes with her husband to the town.
Okay.
And then, it's a town full of werewolves, blah, 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 blah. There's like a hot head lady werewolf, and she's in the movie too. But yeah, it's pretty much it. When they go crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, like she gets attacked in her apartment. Like she answers the door, and this guy busts in and rapes her. And she's played out like a victim through the whole thing, whereas in the movie she's not.
Yeah, she's not at all. That's one of the things I love the first movie, so there's so much about it I love.
Me too.
And it seems like what's it called too? She's like gaslit in the book more because her husband thinks she's just crazy after everything that happened to her. You know, that whole kind of paranoia thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, talk to me about Howling 2.
I got convented again.
Don't compare this shit to Convent, man. I'm telling you right now, don't compare this shit to
Just
Convent.
give me 5 minutes.
I got convented again with this bullshit. No, it's it's so bad it's good. It's one of those. It is a fucking rough watch. Like I watched a half an hour of it the other night, and I was like, all right, well, let me steamroll through the last hour of it. That's the only like saving grace to it, is that it's very quick.
I didn't think so.
And there's no, you're right. There are a couple.
Took me 6 days to watch this movie.
Oh my god!
And this was your idea.
I know, spread out over like 3 weeks, by the way.
By the end of it, I was just like, well, thank God I can go to sleep. This is just, it was fucking hysterical. Like, there's no reason to like hold back spoilers. Like, fuck everybody who hasn't already. Like, it doesn't matter. Because the movie sucks. But like, I'm watching like the first scene where it's like, or the first like, I don't know, sex scene. Take her, and then they go and they start wolfing out, and then they're just very hairy, and then I don't know what Sybil Danning was doing. She was just like making these really bizarre sounds that, I don't know, clicks and whistles, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I? Why am I even alive? Like, I start during this movie, I'm asking myself like the real deep and hard questions about life, and I start wondering. Yeah, I start wondering about breakfast tomorrow, and you know, this movie just sucks. But I mean, I found myself laughing more than anything because I'm watching, werewolf like creature suit designs, and Sean had mentioned, a little tidbit about that prior to recording.
Oh, ape suits.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, at one point, I was like, "When did I start watching like Attack of the Sasquatches?" Because that's what, like, they literally look like fucking big feet, Bigfoot. I don't know how to fucking pluralize that. And they just, they're running out of, castles, and they're lurking in the woods. It's funny too because they have like this one where it's just a rubber mask on a swivel, and they just keep moving its head back and forth. It's so fucking bad looking. Like it's the wolf in the woods, and
but it's also the best looking wolf effect they have, I feel.
Right.
Like. You know what I mean? Like
the little kid at the end is the best wolf. Okay,
oh god, what, dude? That's not even a wolf. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
It was outrageous. But all in all, this movie sucks so hard that I'd rather eat my own eyeballs and barf them up and try to put them back into my head again. It sucked. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. I think this movie is like a crowd pleaser. Again, it's so bad. It's so big. So it's one of those things where let's get a bunch of people together. We'll get shit faced and watch a bullshit movie that will make us all laugh. Like absolutely, it works for that. But there's just it on its own merit. It's garbage. It's garbage. This movie sucks. What do you
It's so
want me to
funny.
say? What else do you want me to say about this? There's no praise. This movie's trash.
Well, we're not here to praise. No, so there's a moment when I turned this on for the first time. It was like two weeks ago, and Kirsten was out of town, so I was like, it was late. I was drinking.
Now I have to watch my wolf porn. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hey, worked out. No, so
I was lonely. I was drinking. Kirsten was out of town.
Hey, Sybil Danning's in here.
I'd see some hairy titties.
So I was like, I remember Shudder had added this, and the funny thing is, as an aside, I didn't finish it until today, and when I went back to finish it today because I knew we were recording tonight, I'm like, it's gone. It's July 1st. It was only on there for a month. They renewed all the other werewolf movies, including Howling 1. This they didn't renew because they were like, who's watching this fucking bullshit? So I had to finish it on Tubi. But I put this on because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fall asleep most likely. It's like 12:30. I'm drinking. I'm like, whatever. And I remember this poster or the box art from 1985, 1986. I was 9, 10 years old. And if I had seen this then, it wouldn't have registered to me that, oh, those don't look like werewolves. I know the way my mind was, I don't know what it would have done to me, but I would feel different about it because I had a previous experience with it. I still wouldn't like it, but there would be something else, right? So putting it on now, I mean, it starts with Christopher Lee, superimposed over the cosmos, reading this fucking line from the Bible or whatever. Total just bullshit. But then there's these moments where, so the score, okay, right? I'm gonna call it the score. It's one song. That's the score. So
which is very hard to find, by the way, because I've been looking for this fucking single on Discogs, and they're all shipping from Europe.
Yep. From Transylvania, most likely, right? Because they're all in Sybil Danning's castle.
Oh my God.
How is the band performing in like the Bowery district of New York at the beginning of the movie, and then they're performing in her castle later for the orgy, and then at the end of the movie they're back in the Bowery district? Like, it makes no sense at all.
It's called werewolf magic, you guys, okay? Apparently. And I don't want to hear it.
The werewolves are like, we listen to one band do one song, that's it, no other music for us.
It's like the Cantina band in Star Wars.
Yes, kind of, yeah.
Oh, hey, you want to hear another song? Same song. Okay, you got it.
I gotta say though, Stephen W. Parsons and Babel, right? So Babel's the band and Stephen Parsons. I love this song. It's cheesy as fuck, cheesy new wave, whatever. But Stephen Parsons is like, he comes off as a combination of Peter Murphy and Anthony Michael Hall in Weird Science,
with a touch of Thomas Dolby.
Yes.
Well, they filmed all that part, I think, in the LA Art District.
Okay.
Like by the brewery and by Twin Towers.
So it's LA. Cool. I'm sorry, you're right. It's not New York, it's LA. I'm thinking I don't know why I thought the Bowery District. I think Cruising's still rolling around in my head.
Well, so in the movie they kind of change a little bit of the werewolf legend a bit. How you have to use a titanium bullet instead of a silver bullet. Maybe werewolves can fly in this one, so that's how Babel got to play in LA. And there you go. Okay.
I like that.
Done. Figured it out, guys. You're welcome. But I will say this. So when I was watching it, and when they're in Prague, they shot it in Prague, I believe. Did you guys not get the whole vibe from Hostel? Like Eli Roth was like, fuck yeah, yes. I'm gonna fucking use this. Because the door man that was like showing her around reminded me just of that guy, the character, the way that they were all suspicious, kind of hiding something. was like, this motherfucker watched this movie and said, I'm gonna take all of that right now.
I as much as I hate Hostel, I'd probably I'll still watch this before I watch Hostel. Actually, never mind. I'll take that back.
That's a bold statement.
It is, but I stand by it. But there is a moment after the Christopher Lee where like that song kicks in with that beat, doom, 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 right? And very important. I mentioned this in the text earlier, and Missy, you didn't see the text, or maybe you did. I don't know if Babel sampled this or if this is a keyboard patch, but they use a sound that's in the Possession. It is prominent in the Possession, not the Possession, in Possession, right? The soundtrack for Possession. I don't know how to explain the sound. It's very distinctive, and it's
literally the first 2 minutes of Possession.
Yes. Yes.
It's super quick.
But it recurs through the whole movie, and it is in this movie repeatedly, and it's part of the Babel song. So I don't know if they sampled the soundtrack to Possession or if it's a keyboard patch that whatever. But the combination of the way that song kicks in, and then they start showing you these statues, these close-ups of these statues, and it has like an Exorcist vibe. And I remember when I put this on that night, I was like, oh, this might actually be. And then it goes to the New Wave Club, and like the punks, and they think they're gonna fuck Mariana, and she takes them to the fucking warehouse, and the wolves come out or whatever. But I was like, oh, this is gonna be a weird like mashup of like kind of old world and new wave. This could be really cool. And like 20 minutes later, I was like, oh wow, was I wrong?
I will give him this. In that scene you're talking about, though, in the warehouse, like those POV shots of a werewolf, I think are fucking cool.
There's some good stuff in this movie.
Going.
It's just it's diluted by rivers of shit.
But here's another thing I heard though. Mora, the director, he directed it originally as like a tongue-in-cheek horror comedy. I guess after the movie was made, producers went back and were like, oh fuck no, we're gonna redo this. So they recut it and did more horror elements to it. So I'm really curious what his like whole vision would have been. Would more people like it? Would it be more of a cult classic?
I mean, I don't think you could take a movie like The Howling, because the original one to me feels like a Cronenberg movie. Like it's a body horror movie in a way. Like it's not a clear cut. It doesn't feel like a normal movie. Like it has that very, kind of cold open with her going to interview Eddie or whatever the fuck his name is, and
Eddie Quest.
Yeah, and it, I don't know. There's something very jarring and seedy and very, I don't know, 1980s. There's like I don't want to say sleaze, but like it's really gritty.
It is that city sleaze though. It's
it's city sleaze, and then it goes to, the
colony.
The colony, and so that is very Cronenberg, where it like starts urban and then goes rural, or or new age.
Yeah.
And I don't think you could make. I don't think anybody would step up. I can direct this sequel to this movie. I'm going to make it a horror comedy. I wonder if this has something to do with the fact that, what I had read, and I don't know, it was on IMDb or something, so I don't know what the source for this is, so I may be repeating garbage, but it's a garbage movie to a degree, so I don't care. But apparently, when they get the costumes and they go to start shooting, they realize, oh, they sent us the wrong costumes. They sent us monkey costumes. And
the box said Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, okay. And so the producer basically told Mora, like, make it fucking work.
Make it work.
So he might have been like, oh, I'll make it work, motherfucker. I'll make a fucking comedy. Because what else am I going to do with monkey suits in a werewolf movie, right? So if that's the case, more power to him. Because that's a total fuck you. And I don't blame him.
He made those monkey suits kind of work. Like, okay, I know everybody's ripping on him, but, if I... I don't know. To me, it's not the worst.
It's not the hey. What's Howl? The suits suck. What's the one with the blind guy? Late Phases. The fucking werewolf.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. The werewolf suit's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Terrible. So this isn't the first werewolf movie where the werewolf suits suck. And again, the editor really, I mean, dude, Charles Bornstein edited this, right? You want to know what else this motherfucker did?
Oh no.
Halloween, 1978. Assistant film editor, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The Fog. Like, this dude is the one, like, I'm watching the whole sequence near the end where it's like Christopher Lee and like Ben or whatever the fuck his name is and the Mr. Belvedere in the the priest. And they have to fight all the werewolves in the woods. And like it's like you can see this guy is like, I got shit to work with, but I'm gonna polish this. And it, I mean, it's not terrible considering what they had to work with. It's not great, but like, he used that revolving wolf prosthetic
Yeah.
in all the right places. Anthony, would you agree, or you're just like, oh fuck you?
I don't even care.
He was disassociating.
Give me
No,
5 minutes.
the only bit that I thought was cool was that and it's stupid as fuck, that little like bat monster she has on the end of her
Salacious
staff.
Crumb. Salacious
She
Crumb.
fucking, like, when it fucking goes flying at the
Mr.
priest,
Belvedere. Yeah.
and then like
Cool as death.
It's creepy because it's like it stuffs its tail down his throat, and it's gnarly, and even as like
back.
yeah, he's not dead. That's the thing that's fucking creepy.
And then it
He's
comes
like,
out of him too later.
yeah, like that whole bit I thought was pretty cool looking, considering like that whole that head they used where his eyes roll back. It's fucking gross looking. Like, it's probably the best bit they have in the film.
Yeah, it is.
But as far as everything else, I got contented. I'm done. What do you want me to say?
No,
Sean, I really wish you were there that night for the convent.
You know what?
The look of disappointment on Anthony's face after the movie, and we're just all smiles, and he's just man.
I've thought of that a couple times recently. Actually, that
you should.
I wasn't there, and I feel like I wrong. I don't even remember why I was there and I left. I was sick. That's what it was. Okay, I assume.
You were sick. So yeah, thanks for coming and infecting us and then going home.
Well, that's before people cared if they were sick or not.
All in all, with this flick, fuck, I'm really struggling to find the goddamn words here. They gave me a huge fucking turd to fucking polish here. I love how menacing they try to make these werewolves like appear, like that they're super powerful and everybody's afraid of them. But all it takes is, the old, here's a good chop, here's a bullet here, and here's a shank, and everybody goes down pretty easily. Like nobody really puts up a big fight. Like,
no.
That big scene.
Yeah, Mariana went out like a bitch, man.
Yeah, totally.
She got shanked, and that was the end of her. And then, I'm going to be seductive for a second. Yep, didn't fall for that. And then, like, the scene in the woods, like, I could tell the get around to having to show a lot of, like, up close shots of, like, the werewolves' faces was how they just did, like, super close up shots of like the squibs of bullet wounds on like the werewolf fur. So you're not seeing, like the full guys. There is a bit of that, but they try to keep all of the kills very very up close so that all the stuff you see is, you're getting your gore, you're getting your blood, but you're not getting the full picture because it looks like shit. You know what I mean? Like they can't.
Well, I don't think there's one full werewolf in this movie. There's either that,
but they don't want to show you. Yeah, they don't want to show you Dr. Zaius getting fucking axed in the back.
Exactly.
Like that's not what they want to do. So like I said, that was kind of the workaround that they did that I noticed. I'm like, okay, I could see what they're doing here. There was like one head they used to fucking blow up the back of its skull to shoot it in the face. But I mean, it's just funny because this movie looked like, well, I can't say, well, I don't know what the budget was on this. Anytime anybody goes to Prague, you have no fucking money. This is like the whole reason why, like, what's his name? Bruce Campbell spent like his 90s and early 2000s in Prague doing fucking shitty movies overseas. Hell, we even got I think it was it Hellseeker or was it Deader? Deader was shot in Prague too, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Like
And
everybody
most of
goes,
Full Moon back in the day too
Yeah.
was all
exactly, yeah,
Europe.
yeah. All the subspecies movies, all that shit was done over there. Exactly. Like it's cheap. It's just a place to go that has, you know, castles you can film in for next to nothing. And maybe that was just kind of like the precursor to all those films going out there and doing that. Granted, it might have been one of the ones that looked the best doing it. I did like some of the internal castle setups. The sets were kind of interesting where they had like the, you know, the slaughtered goats hanging from the walls
Yeah.
and stuff like that. There was some cool shit going on there. But then once she opened her cape up and like I, then she goes to do magic and it turns into like the Tim Curry dance from fucking, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It turns into the Tim Curry dance from fucking from the last or the worst witch. It's just oh god, it's so fucking bad. But yeah, Tim Curry's performance in that A+, and I love that movie tenfold over this film, and I'll watch that any day of the goddamn week. Anything can happen on Halloween. Yes, give it to me, baby. That's
Nice.
good shit. That's
Missy,
good shit. I'll take that any day.
would you care to comment on either Tim Curry and or I mean Sybil Danning or
Sybil
no,
Danning.
I just I do agree with Tori though that I I think they did well with what they were sent ape suits and they got creative and made
yeah.
it work as best they could. I mean,
Exactly.
I was being that the original Howling has like my like my favorite non CGI werewolves, like the best werewolves ever. And then this movie, they had ape suits and they had to get creative. So I mean, it's still heartbreaking, but I think they did pretty well with what they had. I mean, the movie's still terrible, but it's funny. I mean, it's definitely a movie you could watch with your friends, and
Yeah.
you know, I would recommend not being sober when you watch it. It'll be a lot more fun.
That's where I
And-
fucked up.
Yeah.
And I think it wouldn't have got so much flack either if it wasn't Howling 2. You know what I mean? If it wasn't
I
a sequel.
agree.
If it was its own movie, you could be like, oh, this is great. But like Missy's saying, you have to fucking compare it.
Right. If this came out at the same time but was like under Full Moon and like
Yeah.
Charles Band, me and my cousin would have loved it. Like Charles Band shaped our childhoods. We would have loved it. But it was The Howling 2, which is my favorite werewolf movie, and it broke my heart. But you know, I did enjoy watching it yesterday. I mean, it was funny. I have no idea why like she opens her cape and everything's red and glowing and then there's like red laser lightning and shit like that. That shit's just weird, but
That's the power of the she bitch.
you want to watch a bad movie with your friends and just get fucked up and be stupid, like it's not a bad choice. And it has two really weird werewolf orgies, and you're just gonna be left sitting there like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, totally. And there's a guy in the one doing a handstand. You're not like it is the
Oh
weirdest.
my god.
I'm like, what is he
I was
doing?
the only one that saw that. What
Okay, I totally missed that part.
Like, am I that vanilla? You know, like I would have never even occurred to me to, you know.
No, someone's never had a ZJ before, apparently.
I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't think I
If
want
you
to
gotta
know.
ask, you can't afford it.
That's it. Sorry, bud.
I like the one thing I'll tell you I like, and it's such a small thing. And it's not the
midget.
guy. No, it's not the guy
Oh.
that's
That's what I was gonna say.
it's not the guy that's like it is a what is it? It is a lover's moon, and suddenly I'm hungry. I want to make love to you. It's not that guy. I like the fact that when they come up on the castle, there is a guy, presumably a person, in a weird helmet with like a fucking Mac 10. So this is like this weird, like home-brewed role-playing 80s thing where it's like, oh, just, I don't know, it's werewolves, there's magic, there's a guy with a fucking knight's helmet and a fucking automatic weapon. Like, what?
Sean, they were like, bro, we got $100. We're in communist Czechoslovakia. You fucking bring your own prop, bro. We
like,
might give you a mask.
Wouldn't
We're gonna
you
make
think?
It work, you
like,
know?
I'm, just putting it out there. If I was the director, I'd be like, well, he would have a spear, or a sword, or a mace.
Or not a monkey
gun.
suit.
But I know, but werewolves. I'm actually not criticizing this. I actually like that mixing. I like the texture. There's like, I don't know, I like that where it's like sci-fi, but there's automatic weapons, and like it's just something it's a very 80s like hobby shop homebrew sci-fi kind of thing, and that's probably my favorite part of the movie because. So I mean, okay, there's a bit when they get there, right, and Ben and Jenny are like walking through the crowd, right, and Ben tells the whoever the guy is, I want to make love to you guy. He's like, hey, watch her, I'm gonna go get her a present. So he walks away, right. So then Jenny's like, hey, where's Ben? And then make love to you guys like, oh, he wants to meet at the gypsy camp. She's like, I don't know, what? He's like, well, don't you want to see him? So they go. And you never get a scene of Ben coming back going, where is she? The next time you see Ben, he's outside the castle with a gun. And I'm like, what?
Oh, because he started following Christopher Lee.
No, there was, well, I backed it up. I mean, man, this movie defies speculation because you'll try to focus on it and you'll drift. But
it defies time and space.
I don't know.
Much like the new Indiana Jones.
Would you rather watch this again or the first hour of Indiana Jones?
Ooh.
Both bored me to sleep, so they're both about.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just kidding.
But does one have?
I would watch this again just because, like I said, it's got a fun factor to it. Like I said, there's crowd pleaser elements to it. I can't do that with the other movie. I put everybody to bed. This at least will, give everybody a fucking laugh,
I was gonna say also the Indiana Jones doesn't have 17 shots of Sybil Danning tearing off her shirt. So.
Yes.
I had no qualms with that. I love how they spliced that together at the end. That whole thing, and they do these like superimposed shots of like Christopher Lee's face, like he's shocked, and it's hysterical.
It's kind of hysterical. They used the fuck out of that song, man. They got their money out of that song. But like Tori said, that's a hard song to find. It's not on streaming services.
No.
You can look it up on YouTube, and play it, but I mean that's not super handy. You want a physical copy?
There's like 2 versions on YouTube and they're both kind of yeah, dude, Discogs.
Yeah, I looked.
It was fuck. I'm gonna get it. I gotta say though, the best part of the movie is when they picked up the German tourists and the driver just looks at the camera and goes, "Schnitzel." So stupid.
I don't even remember that because that was back 2 weeks ago when I watched the first part of the movie because I didn't rewatch the first part of the movie. It took me
oh my god
quite a few viewings to get through it.
Good Lord.
So, okay. What else we got? Tori, what have you seen?
What have I seen? Oh god, nothing good.
Well, that's never stopped any of us before.
Especially me. oh my God, I watched the Children of the Corn remake, Cock, as I like to call it.
Ah, is that the one on Shudder?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think it just came out on Shudder, right?
It did. Yeah.
I think so.
So it's not in Gatlin.
Is
I
it
don't
in
fucking
Prague?
know. It's yeah, Prague. It looks like Nebraska. I will say, the little girl, the main little girl, Eden, that bitch was creepy. She was really good. The acting was pretty good. Just everything else sucked. And then they showed in this He Who Walks Behind the Rose, it looked like fucking Groot.
No.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. I started disassociating like Anthony. So not the worst thing I've watched this year, but it's don't watch it. Don't watch The Cock, please. I like the original, but I think it has a lot more sentimental value to me.
Mhm.
Started my fear of redheads. So no, it didn't.
Agreed.
I'm sorry, Gingers, I love you.
That's how you know they're all soulless. That's right.
Yeah.
This one's named Malachi. Fuck. No, but don't watch it.
Okay. Watch the
Just please
original
don't
instead.
skip it. Yeah. There you go. And even that one you could skip. But I like, you know what? I think maybe it's just a nostalgia factor. I like all of the remake or the sequels that came out.
I've never
Like
seen
Screaming Mad
one.
George did some of the prosthetics, I think, on the second one.
Really?
Yeah, they're pretty fucking sick. Even if the movies are bad, I'm a sucker for rubber, um, anything cool looking. There's some pretty good gore, and I remember the second and third. I believe they're on Tubi. Get high and watch them. They're a lot of
Okay.
fun. You don't even have to watch the first one again. Just watch those.
I
You can
remember
thank me later.
three had a really good kill bit where they shove somebody back onto a water pipe and the pipe like goes through the back of their head and out the mouth and like just blood and water coming out everywhere. I thought it was a pretty good. And that was Urban Harvest, right? The third one.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
Urban Harvest, and then the second one is like Return.
Beyond Thunderdome or some bullshit like that. Yeah.
We
Like
don't
Return
need
to the
another
Rose or something.
hero.
I remember it had really bad like early '90s CGI and it was like fuck awful looking. And I was like, yeah, this is where cinema's going, and they're really going for it here, and it was bad.
Oh yeah, 2 is the Final Sacrifice, 3 is Urban Harvest, 4 is The Gathering. So yeah, I've seen 1 through 4.
Same.
But Isaac does return. I think I should watch it.
Is he like 50 when he returns?
Yeah, hadn't aged a day. Looks great.
Wow.
You got that Emmanuel Lewis thing going, huh? Benjamin Button. It's fucked up.
Missy, what about you? What you watched?
The other day I watched Exeter on Tubi. Anthony had recommended it. And it's a possession story. Usually I don't much care for anything except for The Exorcist or The Exorcism of Emily Rose. But this is a really good blend of like really snarky, sarcastic humor with a somewhat serious storyline, but serious enough. And it had relatively good gore. So I mean, overall, I thought it was a pretty neat movie. It made me laugh a lot, but then once it gets into the meat of it, it's not afraid to go gory and dark, and you get Stephen Lang, who I'm always happy to see.
Agreed. I'm glad you liked it. I know you wanted a movie that was like, I want to chill, I want to twist one up, and have a good time. And I think that's one of those ones that a lot of folks would enjoy. I'm glad you dug it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. yeah, it was a really good blend of what I wanted, because it wasn't it seems like it's gonna be a stupid movie, but then once they get into the occult and the possession stuff, it goes pretty dark. And you get a guy who gets killed by this crazy chandelier thing that like sliced him in pieces. And it takes
Chandelier dance.
place and it takes place in this like fucked up abandoned old sanitarium where like they were doing all this crazy shit to the patients. So it had a cool set piece too.
I'd never heard of this movie before. You guys were talking about it in the thread, and you know who directed it? Marcus Nispel. I don't know who that is, but when I click on his name, you know what he directed?
Oh,
The Friday the 13th remake, whatever, this Platinum Dunes Friday the 13th, the one with Supernatural guy.
The Killer Cut.
He did that, and he also did.
Okay. I love that movie. I know you hated it, but
he did Texas Chainsaw, the one with 2003, the remake, whatever, Jessica Biel.
Okay.
Which has Jonathan Tucker in it from which we just talked about him from Boone from Justify.
Oh, shit,
also,
yeah.
What's his name from God's Bullet?
Mm-hmm.
You guys aren't selling this movie for me if that's the other movies he's directed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I'd never even heard this guy's name before. Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Pathfinder, National Treasure. Oh, Second Unit on National Treasure. I've never seen National Treasure, but I'm just saying these are big movies. Faith No More. What? Anyway, live at Brixton Academy. Good live album. So you would recommend Exeter?
I would. I mean,
obviously Anthony would.
Right. I had never even heard of it, but I would definitely recommend it. It's a good kickback and chill out kind of movie.
Okay.
But it's got good gore, and I mean, and Stephen Lang is super cool in it.
He's always cool.
He's always cool.
Stephen Lang.
Anthony, talk to me.
I want to talk about America and how it managed to come out with this awesome movie in the year 2019 called Haunt. And I'd never seen Haunt before.
I love Haunt.
Yeah. I know Missy was saying that it's like part of her Halloween staple now every year, which is fucking probably what's going to end up happening with this film with me. I don't know, hectic time. Don't know how I skipped over this one. And I'm really glad I took the time to sit down and check it out. It's streaming on Hulu, and I'm sure more streaming services than that. But pretty fucking cool at building tension, and its comedic elements are not too over the top, and I like the mask work and the special effects of the killers behind the masks. It's got a lot of really cool twists in it that were not super surprising to me, but I thought with what they had created a fucking solid work of art that I think will stand the test of time and has already proven to become a cult favorite. So I mean, I was just glad to jump on board, honestly, after all this time, because the movie fucking rocks. Like it's solid.
Mm-hmm.
The kills are great. It's acted well. Like it's got everything going for it. It's one of those movies where it's like there's flicks that are absolute bullshit that make their way into the fucking theaters. There's no reason why this one shouldn't have got some kind of love and pushed into theaters. I would have loved to see this thing theatrically, but I didn't even watch it back then, so I'm kicking myself in the ass for that. I'm part of the fucking problem, but I'm rectifying that right now by saying if anybody out there listening hasn't seen the movie, go give it a chance. It is a solid fucking flick, worth your time 100%. And it's the best thing I've seen in a long time, and just fucking blew me the fuck away. I love this flick. I can't wait to add it to the collection at some point, and like Missy, I'll probably end up adding it into my yearly Halloween repertoire because this was just fucking outstanding. I really dug this flick.
Nice.
It was a cool twist on the whole haunted maze. Especially there was a lot of those kind of movies going around. I feel like at that time.
Yeah.
And most of them are solid, but to me, like Hell House, the first Hell House LLC, and then Haunt, really fucking did it for me.
Although I will say, just like I like both of them. I love Haunt, Hell House LLC, the first one. I didn't see the others, but solid scares in that movie. But they're too, like, if people out there don't like Hell House LLC, don't let that scare you off from seeing Haunt, because I feel like they're two totally different kinds of movies. Haunt
That's
is
true.
way more like
Polished.
I don't know, it's polished, but it also, like, there's an element of it that reminds me of Rob Zombie. I like a visceral, like, I don't know what it is exactly, but Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who did this movie, went on to do A Quiet Place. And then now they have that movie, which I wouldn't see if you paid me, but 65, where it's like Adam Driver and some little girl, and they're like from the future, but they're in the past, and there's dinosaurs and ray guns and whatever. I mean,
ooh, ray guns.
I thought you liked that thing, Sean. When they have like metal dude with the.
yeah, okay. I see. Not in that. No.
I know, I'm messing.
I know. No, you're right about it. I did. I'm sure that was good.
They what's it called? They wrote Boogeyman too, the new one coming out. The Stephen King. They did the screenplay.
Did they really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize that. Yeah, they did. God damn. Well, they're just busy little beavers, aren't they?
Good for them.
That's.
So
I mean, it's cool though. It's cool because it's like, well, so that's interesting because 65 and Boogeyman came out basically at the same time. So that's, I mean, wow, that's pretty cool. I'm happy for them. But Haunt, yeah, it's a solid fucking movie, and I guess A Quiet Place is before that. So, I didn't realize that. So.
Can I ask you something? What is it about that movie that gives you the Rob Zombie vibe? Because I'm annoyed now. So
I don't know. Like, there's I think it's maybe just taking like the costumes and the kind of extreme kills, and I don't want to. There's the kind of like the way they use certain subcultures. I mean, it's not exactly, it doesn't feel like his filmmaking, but it feels like it comes from a similar place, just a different translation. It didn't feel like a Rob Zombie movie. I'm just saying it feels like they would have things in common.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, Sean, because there were some like maybe shots in Haunt that Rob Zombie likes to do, with the same kind of setup. So it's not necessarily like it's inspired or trying to be Rob Zombie.
Not at all.
Or what he does,
I didn't mean that at all.
I know, but I understand what you're saying, Sean. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Come from a similar place, and there's that, like, there's an element of that, like, where they're in like bumfuck whatever, and it's this haunted house. Like, that's like his bread and butter, right? It's like, oh, we're out in the middle of fucking nowhere, Indiana. Let's go to this shady looking haunted house, and oh, look, they're gonna kill us. It's like
hot dog.
I love the whole sequence where he silently makes them put their phones in the box. Like, there's a, because that's the moment where it's like, man, you should know better,
right?
It's
they're
just
cutting you off.
And it's just such a mistake. Just such a mistake. And then there's the moment, the first kill is great too, because it's like, it looks like it's part of the show until it doesn't, right? So
Right.
Mhm.
and the reactions, everybody in it is it's just man, it is a solid flick. I was surprised. What was it, Missy? Like 2 years ago, the Joe Bob Halloween episode, he did Haunt, and I was like, holy shit! Like I just didn't expect. And I love when he does like a current movie that I feel like,
Right.
you know, same when he did House of the Devil, and he talked so like lovingly about everything about, you know, both of those movies, just what he liked about them. It's like, oh yeah, okay. I mean, because they're like Anthony said, this Haunts, it's timeless. Like it's just immediately you watch it, and you're like, oh yeah, that should go into the rotation. Fuck yeah, great flick.
Agreed.
Good
I
one.
like the mask aesthetic that they had, because it took me back to like the special needs bus for the kids in Trick or Treat, right?
Yeah,
It reminded me of like that style, and I was like, that's really fucking cool. Almost paper mache. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's fucking rad. And then I could see how like Rob Zombie had used that early on in like House of a Thousand Corpses. Some of the mask designs that they created were like very. So that's kind of how I view it. But yeah, fucking Haunt's awesome. I want to see it again very soon, hopefully.
Watch it now. Turn it on.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
what, damn it, Sean.
And that was our show. Fuck off, no, I'm kidding. No. What about you, Sean? What you seen lately?
Couple really good ones. I gotta say, I watched Carter Smith's Swallowed recently.
Ooh.
Oh man. Really fucking good movie. Really good movie. Not gonna be for everybody. The basic setup is two friends. One of them they're in like upstate New York, I think, because they're right by the Canadian border. One of them's moving to LA like the next day to be a porn star. And
nice.
The other one is like, you know, I know you don't have a lot of money for your trip, so like just come with me. I'm gonna do something, you know, before we call it a night. And so he goes to his like cousins, and Jenna Malone is there, and she's Jenna Malone. Wow. She's just a badass. She basically wants them to mule drugs over the border, and basically says, I need you to swallow these packets. And they're like, wait, this is not. And she makes them at gunpoint swallow these packets, and then they're gonna go over the border and drop them off. And shit goes wrong, and it turns out that it's not drugs per se, it's bugs. And man, you know who's in it that really, really, really I just thought swung for the fence and hit it out of the park was Mark Patton, who the only thing people are going to know him from is Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and then the documentary about Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really, really well done. Obviously very small budget, but like all of the acting's great. And just as a body horror movie, there's so many things about it that just work, you know, where it's just like, oh my God. Oh,
where can we watch this at?
I rented it on Prime for I want to say $5. Totally worth it. I don't know where else. Like it, maybe it'll eventually pop up on one of the, you know, as an included one. Maybe not. I mean, it's pretty out there, you know. I mean, there's a whole sequence where one of them has to fucking grease up his arm and reach up the other one's fucking rectum to remove these things. It's a pretty prolonged, it's a pretty prolonged sequence.
More like prolapsed.
Get yourself a pink sock, huh?
Oh, but yeah, it is extremely effective in what it does. So I was impressed. I liked it quite a bit.
Anything with like spit and swallowing and
it's definitely there's some moments where you're like, oh wow, okay. And I mean, and just like
I want to gag thinking about it. I was like, oh.
there's I mean, it had to be really hard to film. Like, I remember hearing Carter Smith on Colors of the Dark, where he talked about like casting the one actor. He's like, I had to find somebody who was comfortable with basically being like naked for like 60% of the movie. And yeah, it was not an easy movie to. Anytime an actor can do a, I've talked about like My Bloody Valentine, the fucking remake. I don't think it's a very good movie, but the woman that does the scene where she's naked in the truck stop, I mean, it's just a really long sequence, and I just feel like she does an amazing job because holy fuck, like she's naked, like for the whole fucking sequence. Or like Vigo in Eastern Promises.
Yes.
The fight scene. I'm like, dude, Vigo deserves a fucking. Can you imagine doing a fight scene in a fucking European bath, like naked? Like, holy shit, man. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyway,
Perfect
swallowed.
display of back sack, definitely.
Back sack, backtrack, all of it.
Back sack. The back sack is solid in that one. Good stuff.
Tori, what else? What you got?
Nothing really. I mean, I've just been kind of in a horror funk lately. Just nothing like inspiring to me, except for obviously Howling 2.
In the pale light, the pale light of the moon glow.
I got a hunger that's oh fuck, I just fucked up.
That's okay.
I got a hunger, that's it. Fuck.
See, that song slaps, like you said. It's a good song.
I mean, I have that thing saved on my YouTube and I play it regularly. Probably half of those views, you know. Oh, I finally did watch Pearl though.
Oh, and you said you liked it better than X, correct?
I liked it better than X. I really did, because Wizard of Oz is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I love the old MGM movies and all the Technicolor, and fuck, that was great. It was just like a fucked up MGM movie.
Yeah.
Like if it busted out into a musical, I wouldn't have been mad. Well, it kind of did.
It kind of, not exactly, but kind of.
But it was a fucked up, twisted Wizard of Oz, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. I don't know. I mean, X was good. I think X is really good. I think people kind of have pumped it up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Than what it is. But don't get me wrong, it is great. I do like it. But Pearl, that just, I don't know, that really did something for me. Just all the bright colors. It made everything that much more effective when something bad did happen.
Yeah.
Because one minute you're sympathizing with her, you're like, oh, cool, okay, it's so great. So then when fucked up shit happens and you see how she is, it's that much more impactful. And holy shit, the ending.
Yeah, the ending, that last shot of her is just unbelievable. Just
and her like trying to tell him to break, like cut. Oh my god, her tearing up, and just the whole thing of her husband walking in on. What a great fucking movie. I really recommend that one. I believe it. I don't know. I think it's on DirecTV.
It's on
Showtime.
Showtime.
Maybe?
I think it's on Showtime. I think both of them are. Yeah, I mean, I love both. X is a little bit more in my wheelhouse, but Pearl is amazing because it was amazing, but also like Ty West, fuck yeah, like I followed that guy since 2006, and like he disappeared for a number of years and did he did some like TV and stuff like that, but like X was him coming back, and then to follow it up almost immediately with Pearl and have it be what you just said, like a twisted MGM movie. I was like, I had no fucking clue. Like X was fantastic, but it's not outside the realm of possibility for you to think Ty West would do X, right?
Exactly.
You see Pearl. If I had just woken up from cryogenic storage for 5 years in the movie theater and seen Pearl, I would never have been like, was that Ty West? Would never even occurred to me. So that's impressive.
Yeah, he's never done anything that I
Nothing
haven't
like that.
liked.
Yeah.
I've liked everything, and
I
then
love the
Pearl.
Roost. Even the Roost. For all it's whatever. I love it.
That's like the Convent. It was just one of those movies, except for Anthony. They're just
Trigger Man.
bad, but they're so good.
I feel like Trigger Man has a budget of $5, but he does so much with it. I wish I could find that. That doesn't exist anymore.
Wiped out. Motherfucking Pearl. Yeah, great movie. You don't have to see X to get it. I mean, you should, but you don't have to.
It'd be interesting to see Pearl first and then X.
Yeah, that'd be ooh.
That's happened to somebody.
That would go.
That's happened to somebody somewhere.
Oh, they watched it out of order.
Yeah, that happened.
Interesting.
Missy, what about you?
I just watched Renfield again the other day, and I think that's one of my favorite movies of the year.
I can see that. It's a solid flick.
And it's super fun. Nick Cage does like a delightful, cheesy Bela Lugosi style Dracula, and it has like giant fucking shark teeth. It's gory as hell, and it's funny, and I'm always happy to see Nick Cage. Like, I'm glad he found his place in horror. It always makes me smile when I see him pop up in another horror movie. But I thought Renfield was great. It's smart. It's got kind of a fun, like, save yourself kind of message, and it's super fucking gory.
Renfield was great.
I was shocked at the level of gore. I could not believe that it was what it was.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise.
It was.
Yeah, same.
I'm glad to see anything with Awkwafina.
Awkwafina. You know what? I really liked her because she wasn't playing Awkwafina. You know what I mean? Normally she kind of plays herself.
Who is that? I don't think I know who that is.
She was the cop.
Okay.
She's named after a bottle of water. I don't know why.
Awkwafina. But yeah, I like that she wasn't just. They weren't like, hey, okay, just go be yourself, okay? Just redesign. Yeah, just do the Awkwafina thing. Go for it. No, she actually like tried to play a character, and that was great to see. And yeah, Nick Cage. Oh, I love him. I don't care.
Right. Same. Me too.
Man, and he's done so great, yeah, with this horror recently. Renfield, Willy's Wonderland, fucking Color Out of Space.
Mandy.
I'm gonna make out with him.
Anthony?
The last thing I'm gonna talk about is I saw Mikey Flanagan's Oculus for the first time recently.
Yes.
And then
Immediately went to eat an apple.
Immediately went to sleep. Yeah, man, that movie. Like, I get what they're doing with it, and it's interesting. I think it doesn't start to really come together till the last half hour, which is sad because before that I have an hour of what the fuck prior to that. It's not the worst thing in the world. I thought it was interesting. I like to see like I like to see how like time, memory, and the present seem to all kind of like meld together, creating this just amalgamation of like fuck that sucks for everybody that's involved in it. I thought there was only like what one kill in it, 2 kills maybe. I think 2 kills are like gunshot wounds, and then the other one is that like impalement with the weight thing. It's been long enough. The movie came out in 2010, so if you haven't seen it by now, oh well. I haven't seen it until now either, so fuck me too, you know. But no, I didn't. I finished it like just prior to recording. Actually, I think I watched probably the last like 35 minutes of it, and yeah, that's when it like really came together, in my opinion. But yeah, that first hour is really hard to get through, and I understand where he's going with it, where it's like you have the woman in the glass who's making her appearance in the home. She's, you know, a mistress. She's a, you know, she's doing all these things that, you know, will suck away the father from, um, you know, paying attention to the family and eventually turning him on everybody. Um, it's interesting how this ghost kind of will use, you know, the typical atypical like whispering in the ear up to, you know, sexuality and all kinds of other different ways of bringing it together. But by the end of it, it reminded me of like We're Still Here, where you have the collection of ghosts that the house keeps together by the end of the movie. And that one I fucking love. I love We're Still Here. That movie fucking rips.
Dude, that movie's so fucking good.
Yeah. So I'm like if that drew anything, any kind of like inspiration from this, I could see where it came from, and I like that there's like this collection of like ghosts. And that kind of like takes me back to like The Ugly. I don't know if you ever saw that Australian film, The Ugly. It was like a slasher, but everybody he killed stuck with him. So everywhere he went, he had these like, you know, these ghosts that had like white sacks over them with like their throats slashed with like black blood coming out of like the mouths and necks everywhere. And it is these, like I said, these like apparitions of everybody he killed, like kept following him around and telling him to do stuff. That's a whole other thing. And I know that doesn't have anything. I'm just talking about how it relates to it in imagery, as far as like imagery goes. I like seeing stuff like that. So I think Oculus really was able to pull it all together in that last half hour and give me a lot of like tidbits from things that I like that already pre-exist. And then again, watching something like you know, We Are Still Here, I could see how that probably drew inspiration and from that. And you know, I think it belongs in line with all those things that I just mentioned. And it's a pretty solid flick. Again, that first hour is a little hard to get through. But I mean, watching some of the other stuff that Flanagan's done, well, not I haven't watched very much, but I mean, like going back and watching like Doctor Sleep. Missy and I were talking about this via text before. Where it's like I know he's very capable of creating some really nasty shit and going to very dark places. So, so I think he's one of those guys that I would pay attention to a lot more in the future, seeing that he's not afraid to dip his toes into taboo and fucking go to like really fucked up oddball places that really, you know, tickle my guts. So yeah, I liked it. By the end of it, I can say I enjoyed the movie. I think the last hour, that third act really tied it together, and solid flick. So yeah, only 13 years late, but yeah, Oculus was good. Sure. And that's pretty much the last thing I had a chance to see other than like God is a Bullet. So I mean,
Dude, you know Oculus is a WWE Studios movie?
I did see that in the beginning, and I was wondering where they were gonna insert like wrestler / actor, and I don't know if they did or didn't. So
I don't think they did.
I don't think so.
That's
But
interesting.
WWE Studios put out some good horror, I remember. Like, not, I went,
Oh.
okay.
fucking No One Lives. No One Lives is fucking
No One
outstanding.
Lives is good.
Mm-hmm.
No One Lives. I remember catching that one theatrically. That shit was great, gory as fuck too. That's a good flick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
was
like
a
that
nice
one.
surprise, huh? What else did they do?
Didn't they also put out Santa's Sleigh?
They did,
The
oh,
one
I
with
remember they did the
Goldberg?
See No Evil too.
Yeah, and that
yeah.
was the Salskas. That was the Salskas too. Salska sisters did that.
It's funny you brought up We Are Still Here because man, I'm gonna butcher his name. The director of We Are Still Here Ted.
Kaczynski. May he rest in peace.
Hold on.
Ted Gogion?
Yes, I'm gonna go with that.
Gogion? Sorry, Ted.
Geoghegan. Ted Geoghegan. I hope that's a Hail Mary. He's got a new movie on. It just came out last month on Shudder called Brooklyn 45. And all I needed to know was that I knew his name from We Are Still Here. I was like, oh fuck yeah. And Larry Fessenden is featured prominently in it. It's fucking fantastic. Okay. Fucking fantastic.
Oh, I just saw that on
it's
Shudder.
100% not what you think it's gonna be. It is a horror movie, but it is way more of a drama, and it's basically a one room, like I was very impressed with it. I really liked it. Yeah, I don't know. Highly recommend it, but don't go in expecting a horror movie per se. There's definitely elements. For sure. Okay. There's like elements where I was like, oh, like there's a point where I was like, we're gonna get it's getting a little bit Evil Dead. Never fully goes Evil Dead. But yeah, and dude, fucking fascinating. He just I'm biased. I've not seen a movie he's in that I don't like. Because even if I'm not liking a movie, if he shows up, I'm usually like, I'm cool. That was good.
He makes you smile, right? Like
he does,
comes on the screen and you're like, man, I fucking love you. Always. And his band's pretty good too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that man.
Love you, President.
So the verdict here is when this episode ends, if you're listening, go to Tubi, type in Howling 2, and then close the app and just don't.
You could just go make a sandwich. Make a sandwich. It's better.
I'll put a link to the song. I was gonna make a joke about fast forwarding to the 17 shots of but I don't want to.
I'm okay with that.
I don't want to. No, I mean,
I'll say it. Fast forward to the 17 shots of tits.
It's so fucked up that it's just so fucked up.
But it's so funny.
It is, but like, man, dude, you know, when she saw that movie, she was like, fuck you.
Son of a
like, fuck, I'm gonna fucking
and I bet you she cashed the check, so who gives a shit?
Yeah. All right, good point. So for the Horror Vision After Hours or After Dark, I don't know God, the beginning of the episode seems like it was 9 days ago. I'm Sybil Danning.
I'm Sybil Danning's werewolf boobs. Anthony's unimpressed.
I think they're both like, how do I follow that?
See, no, you see that face? That's the face after the convent. That's the face I got.
Just give him 5 minutes.
Well, I'm Missy.
I'm Anthony, the creature that sits atop a staff waiting to fly into your mouth.
Salacious Crumb. I'm telling you, I kept seeing that. I kept trying to get a picture to send it to you guys to be like, is this Salacious Crumb? Why does he have Salacious Crumb on a fucking staff? What's Jabba think about that? Okay, well, we'll be back with more werewolf hijinks when we do Howling 3. No, I'm kidding. That's
the marsupials.
That's not fucking happening. Well, you know what? Actually, that might happen because Ray has been trying to get me to see that movie since I've met him.
For 20 fucking years, that man has been talking about that goddamn movie.
16, 17, something like that. Yeah, he's been seriously.
Almost 20.
Yeah, close enough.
That was fun, though. I like that one. That's the one sequel I remember liking because it had marsupial werewolves. And I like monsters.
That's just weird. What if the werewolves were like kangaroos? It just seemed, I don't know. Okay, well, guys, I'll see you by the pale light of the moon glow.
A pandemic of violence floods the streets of major cities as cases of the media-dubbed murder virus, MV20 soar, causing those infected to go on killing sprees. Caught in the middle, police detective Angela Miller finds her only trustworthy ally in the self-proclaimed psychic PI, Gerald Henry. As the two try to navigate the violence, they are drawn into New Age guru Abramelin Harvest's plot to heal the planet. Harvest's missive?
The world is sick, and humanity is the infection.
The cure? Murder. From the twisted mind of Sean C. Baker, author of A Collection of Desires and Shadowplay in Book 1, Kim and Jesse, comes his most vicious novel yet, Murder Virus. Available where books are sold.